Hey everyone, it's Isaac Patino from your Honors World Communication class, and today I'm going to be doing my persuasive essay. So, have you ever wondered why more people are switching to electric vehicles compared to gas? Well, in this presentation I'll be going over the harmful effects of gas-powered vehicles and why you should consider trading it in for an electric vehicle. So if you haven't noticed, I'm going to be talking about obviously why electric vehicles are better than gas-powered vehicles. So first, I'm going to be going into the problem, which is that gas-powered vehicles are just all around a bad idea. Gas-powered vehicles have been around for about 100 years, and ever since then, they really haven't gotten that much better. So, for instance, electric vehicles have only been around for 30 years, or about 30 years. And they're already about matched up with the availability and the usability as a gas-powered vehicle is. So gas cars have outgrown their variety and their usability, basically. So if you've seen anything from Tesla, you know that the way those cars look, they're nicer in design, they're more futuristic looking, and they're just all around innovative. Problems are also not persistent between gas and electric vehicles. Like, for instance, you don't have to worry about doing an oil change for your electric car because it doesn't have an engine that needs oil to run on. Or even then, in this chart I have right here, you can see that maintaining a car, a gas-powered car, would cost almost $4,000 more compared to an electric car. As a big of a problem as it is, gas cars produce more global emissions than electric cars, which makes them more of a problem, because that just leads to more things like global warming and just air pollution, which obviously isn't good. Improvements in gas cars have no relation to completely reducing emissions. The thing with gas cars is that they will always be producing air pollution or carbon emissions. Now with an electric car, yes, they still produce some amount of emissions, but that could be fixed over time to where no emissions are released at all. This information I got come from two sources: Electric Cars versus Gas Vehicles, What You Need to Know, which was published on September 20th, 2017, and Gasoline versus Electric, Who Wins on a Lifetime Global Warming Emissions, we found out. That was published on April 13th, 2018. Alright, so I just finished talking about why gas cars are a problem. Now we'll talk about the long-term effects of using both types of cars, so gas and electric. And then I'll also talk about why electric cars are the solution to the problem that is gas-powered vehicles. So, the cause is long-term effects if things do change for the better or if they don't. So, if we do end up switching to electric-powered vehicles, less emissions, which means less air pollution, which means a healthier, body. You reduce the amount of air pollution in busy cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, which is very cramped, and New York City. And innovations in electric cars will also lead to more innovation in renewable energies. So that way, like I said, the electric cars start producing less emissions to eventually there's just no emissions at all. And that's only if we do make the change to obviously get more electric cars out there on the roads. Now if we don't change, if we stick with gas-powered vehicles, which is an awful idea, cities will continue to act as global hotspots for all this air pollution and all these carbon emissions, which means that the people in the cities are going to be sick. They're going to be more vulnerable if they're like more children and old people. And obviously that would lead to illness and probably death. Air pollution can last for many years, and if you're constantly exposed to this, you will obviously get some negative side effects. Some of those side effects can be like lung cancer or many different kinds of serious illnesses that could lead to death. And the big one is obviously global warming, and just if a lot of these emissions are coming out from these hot spots, they're going to be hotter obviously central areas of where the global warming is most taking effect. So some cities could have like warmer weather, even though it's like cloudy outside or something like that. And so I got these sources, the do change and the don't changes, from what would happen if all cars were electric, which was posted on May 30th, 2020, and gasoline versus electric, who wins on lifetime global warming emissions, which is also published on April 13th, 2018. Alright, so I just finished talking about why gas cars are a problem, and I also just finished talking about the long-term effects if things change and if they don't. So now I'll be talking about electric cars and how they are the definitive solution to the gas-powered car problem. Now I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this one, only because they had a lot more to deal with. So, first off, electric cars, they're a long-term investment. Basically, they are more expensive than gas-powered cars, but that's for a good reason. You'll be spending more money on a gas-powered car to keep it in shape, to maintain it, paying for gas. And that's not to say that electric cars, you don't have to pay for electricity, obviously you do, but that cost of the energy that you're putting into your car would be less than how much you would pay for gas to put to your gas-powered vehicle. So that's why people aren't getting electric cars as much. It's because they see the price tag and they're like, oh, well, maybe that is not for me. The good thing about electric cars is that they're also just like smartphones. So when you're not using it, maybe just plug it in, or when you're going to bed, just plug it in. And when you wake up, you got a full tank, full energy in that electric car, which you could use to go wherever you want. Like I said, it is pricier, but you will get more usage out of your electric car. And with the way things are going, they're only going to get better and better. So eventually, you'd be able to do more with an electric car than you would be able to do with a gas-powered vehicle. And also, Governor Newsom in California just pretty much made this claim that by 2030, the 2030s, he wants most of California to run solely on electric vehicles in order to reduce the amount of carbon that is being produced in California, which I thought was very interesting, and I hope it does happen. I know I own a hybrid, so I'm halfway there. And although you don't have to worry about engines, you do have to worry about, obviously, batteries. But it's alright because although they wear out over time, which is about like 10 to 12 years if you live in a moderate climate, or 8 to 10 if you live in a more dangerous climate or more extreme weather, the battery life will, the lifespan will fluctuate. So the people who manufacture the cars will pretty much reimburse you with a warranty that you pay for. That once that battery dies, they can give you another one. Like, no problem, because obviously they want you to stay, involved with the company, and they want you to be happy with your product. And like I said before, it's easier to maintain an electric vehicle. You don't have to worry about other expenses that you would with a gas-powered vehicle. Overall, it's just a lot easier just to switch to it. So on this chart real quick, I just want to show you that although we have a fraction of the population of like China, they have like 1 billion, we have like almost 300 million. We are the second runner-up in carbon emissions in the world. And maybe that using these electric vehicles instead of gas, we could cut that down to where we could be obviously a less producer because of all the factories. And another thing, electric cars, it does take a bit more carbon to produce them. However, using a gas-powered car for a long period of time would produce more carbon than it would just to use that electric car. So yeah, although electric cars do take more carbon in the manufacturing process, over time they will do less emissions. So that's why people are like, oh, electric cars are bad because they cost more to make them. But it's really not. In the long term, that's how you have to look at it, that it's better. So in conclusion, I've talked to you about the main issue, which was the gas-powered vehicles. Then I discussed the long-term effects if we do switch, and if we don't switch. And I finally just concluded that why electric cars are the solution to the problems that come with gas-powered cars. So, I hope you're all convinced, or at least you learned something that will make you consider switching to a gas-powered vehicle. The transition itself isn't just a great lifestyle change, it's also a good change for the future. So, thanks again. Here are my sources that I used, and thank you.